All right, guys. So pretty on point day thus far. Well, we're almost at the end of the excuse me, the end of the day. So we had a high here, 211, and we have a high correlator here between 2 and 3 o'clock. So that worked pretty well. And then with a push, it's kind of like a move up and then a move down. That's that art card. Move up and then a move back down, right? It's kind of like a point. Now we have a push here. We might see another high here at the very end of the day. It's possible because we've got that AM card. The AM card, it usually indicates like moving the upper end of a range higher. And that would be when we look at the 1 month overview. Today's the science card. Has a lot to do with technical analysis, has a lot to do with resistance and important price level, and you can see we broke through a resistance level here. Right, pretty significant resistance level that we broke through. We could put that at, well, really, I'd say the high here is probably the important range, and you see we have what's it called? We have a fortune card in the high position. So notable reversal. When we're looking at this multi-day chart, we'll see a notable reversal from there. The Hierophant is for tomorrow. The Hierophant theme card. It's a difficult card to predict. It basically indicates that Congress is highlighted. Usually there's like a holding pattern involved because we're waiting on something. It's not always Congress. It could be like, less common legislative leader, maybe like a foreign legislative branch or something like that, agency. But I think probably Congress. And we have a couple big moves tomorrow, guys. Looks like there's 1 to 2 big moves early in the morning. I think likely what we do is we come out of a low at the open, fake out, we turn around and we drop pretty hard, and there's a big move up, a big move down, and then we have what appears to be a low here midday. There's that strife card, which are basically at that strife level we indicated at like 392. I'm gonna mark that off again. Originally I thought was going to be on the 12th. Nope. It's a little bit off there. Anyhow, tomorrow's an interesting day because we have lows at the beginning of the day. There's no high correlator to give away where we're going to see a high. Likely we see one here. The end of the day, there's some bullish cards, but the low significator is the Ace of Swords, which indicates a lot of volatility coming off of a resistance level. You mix that with the overview, where we have the Satiety card, and that's and it's crossed with the Happiness card again. Both cards indicate selling from near overbought territory on RSI. So we should see like one local high tomorrow, from which we don't revisit again within the time frame of the day. Looks like there's a little bit of a rally in there. Interesting. And then, provided that tomorrow's a pretty bearish day, there's a good shot that we have an important trough or low tomorrow. Excuse me, on the 21st. which is a Thursday, not tomorrow, but the day after. We got the August S&P done, guys. If you're not on our mailing list, it's a free mailing list. You go to tarotfortraders.com, sign up for the free mailing list, and you get the 1 month overview reading of the S&P 500 by the predicts by the day, give or take like a day, and then it's got highs and lows, behavior by the day. We're averaging roughly 97-98% average accuracy with like 30 or so statements on each of these. Comes out every month, and it's free. Comes out about a week ahead of anybody else seeing it. All you got to do is sign up free on the mailing list. And then, guys, also we've got the Kickstarter official launch date. We're hoping, provided everything goes smoothly, the official launch date of our Kickstarter will be August 1st, and we're going to run it 11 days. It's an SO-Meta platform. Primarily, it's astrological and financial data on it. So it's like a technical finance chart, technical analysis chart, but it includes detailed astrologic data in it as well. First of its kind. And then from there, we're going to add all sorts of cutting edge type of indicators that you won't be able to find anywhere else. They harness knowledge of metaphysics, entanglement theory, fractals, stuff like that, in order to accomplish indications that you wouldn't find anywhere else based on where we're getting the information. It's impossible to find it anywhere else. And so all that stuff's going to be put into it eventually, but to start off, it's really a good research tool and also a predictive tool for those of us who are really into astrology. You could really pick up on patterns because you can like back test, look at where planets were and stuff like that. So that's all going to be in our SO-Meta analysis platform, which is what we're doing the Kickstarter for. Really important that we make this Kickstarter. That's how we're going to continue doing what we've been doing with the channel and growing. So we really need your guys' help in order to push that forward. We're only doing it for 11 days, but I'm sure there's plenty of demand. I've been building this idea in my mind for years and years and years. Finally, over the last year, we started building it. We're really close to a finished prototype. We're also really close to the end of our financing, so this is what we're doing. And provided we can do that, that's going to keep everything running pretty smoothly. Taking any questions real quick, guys. I see some people hopped onto YouTube. I'm about to head out and go to Wall Street and do some more live readings. But before I go, I was just talking about how tomorrow is a pretty rough. It's an interesting reading. There's a lot of missing data on this reading. One thing, you've got the Hierophant card. Hierophant card is generally, it's not a good card, but really from a technical standpoint, it usually indicates a holding pattern and then a big move. There's two things that you'll see. Either there's like a big move higher and then a big move lower, or you see a holding pattern and then a big move in one direction, usually. And Congress or some sort of like lesser common legislative individual is highlighted usually when you see that card. So what's interesting is that we have 392 has been noted as the strife level, and tomorrow we have the highest strife. It's also nullified, so there's no correlation on the timeline for the high card, which leads me to believe that we likely have it overnight, or it's appearing right now. But this is a bearish card, so provided that you go into the satiety or the happiness card, provided you go into it with a rally, it's just a straight bearish card. But if you don't go into it in like a clean-cut rally, sometimes it indicates a little bit of a move higher, followed by a decline. Based on where we are now, it's likely we're just going to move lower, especially with that low correlator there. Although we were stretched out a little bit here from the 15th, I have the indication of a crest, and we did reach a high on the 15th, but then we also reached it again on the 18th and 19th. So we're a little bit stretched. And with that said, my sense is we're very, very close to the top here, if not at the top. I mean, the end of the day card is the abundance card, right? Which is like a move higher through resistance, followed by a decline back through that same price level. So it's kind of like an A shape in the capital alphabet. A crash? Are we gonna see a crash soon? Hey B, let me see. I mean, an actual crash. If we did, we would see it soon. If it's an actual crash, and I've been trying to. I did a prediction a while back, like in November when I was first predicting this big downturn. I believe it's November 28th, but I have to go back and look. In one of those readings that I did around the end of November, I predicted all the price levels that we were going to hit. So far, I've been on point. I did predict we'd go a bit deeper. So if we do, it's likely going to be you know, we've got Mercury retrograde coming up on the 20th. The influence starts. Yeah, I thought that too, B, but also it could be the end of, like, so there's a high here, right? And I'm looking at the 1 year, so prominent crest turns into a low here. We have a pretty strong low, right? But that's on the, you know, you got to give it like a couple weeks, like variation, because this is very broad. We're doing 1 year using one card for like a 2-week period. So it can be like, you know, you got to give it a little bit. So there's a definitive low in there in early July, which could be the end of June, early July. And then we move higher. Looks like there's a lot of moving higher here. What price swings near the high for the month. And then what's interesting is that we have a low correlator in August. We have a low correlator in early September. I think probably the low is going to end up being in August based on what I'm seeing. So I don't know about a crash per se. But if we did see one, it would likely be like when right before retrograde, so somewhere around the 20th, give or take a few days, we'd see a lot of volatility start, and then a pretty notable decline moving into this period, the August 20th through September 9th period. There should be a lot of volatility. There's a definitive reversal. So whatever direction we are going when we move into the 9th, there's 90% chance of a reversal right on that day. Another one on the 16th. But this is that period of time, the Mercury retrograde period, where there's a really great opportunity. What happens in this period within reason will happen again within this period. And see how this is a much smaller period, this line to here versus this line to here, because it's a shorter amount of time. So the pattern will be a little skewed based on weekends. But there's an opportunity in there, so watch closely what the market does from like 820 to 9.9. It'll likely do that again from like 10.9 to 10.16. So if there is a crash, I'd likely see it happening around that time. We also have the death card, so it's a prominent low. Another thing to point out is we have like a low correlation with the low for the month, so that's a strong indication of a prominent low there. We also have near the high is the full card, which means good opportunity in there if you catch the high properly. It looks like based on where we are now, we probably we're pushing the upper end of a range here, come back down. By the end of August, we'll definitely be in like another low. 380 by the end of the week. I think so. I hope so. I'm sitting on 369 out of the money puts that I wanted to get out of. I didn't expect to see more high where I bought them. I bought them on Friday, and I didn't expect us to continue going. I'm really excited, guys, because the August reading that I did in all the dailies, I really had time to get into it and really like get in depth and cross-reference the dailies with the monthly and the monthly with the dailies to find the areas where it's stretched and shrunk on the overview. So I feel pretty strongly August is going to be awesome. As long as I have time, I can really get in depth. So end of day selling from a high up through resistance, back down through that same price level. In the post market, fast sudden move higher out of a decline, marking the end of that decline. And then we have, look, we've got this. I didn't have time to cross-reference these dailies with the monthly, but like this happiness card. When we look at the 1 month overview, we have the satiety card. I don't know if I pronounced it right, but those are very, very similar energies. So if we're not at the high today, then we would hit it tomorrow and drop from there. I'm hoping that we're seeing the high right now. And then we've got that low correlator. So it may, based on this stretching out, it's possible that this is pushed out a little bit too. But I don't see like another major high after this. Once we have the turnaround from this crest, which is stretched a little bit here, from the 15th into the 19th. Once we do see the definitive turnaround and we're like, okay, that crest is behind us, we should see a low and then either the same low or another low later on towards the very end of the month. But we do have, it looks like a high, a higher high in August as well. But to really get into the August, just because it's a higher high doesn't mean that there isn't a lower low in there as well. And to really get into August, you have to sign up for that free mailing list on our website, guys. But I think there's a good chance, Unlimited, to answer your question succinctly, there's a very good chance 380 by the end of the week. Awesome, Philip. I'm glad to hear it, man. Glad to hear it. Yeah, August should be pretty badass, and I'm working really, really hard to get September done before we enter retrograde, so that I don't fall into that same trap where I end up having to do the readings in the middle of retrograde, and then there's all these mistakes and stuff like that. So I'm doing my best to make that happen. I almost feel like if that doesn't happen, I shouldn't do it. So I really need to get it done, so it's not being done during August. Will AMC squeeze? What do I got for AMC? June and July. I'm gonna have another AMC. I'm having there's an AMC August on the agenda here. Really, what I need to do is a 1 year. I could do a one card reading for you real quick, Ken. We'll see. Just give me a sec here to really like. Matter of fact, I'm gonna use this new deck. After that, though, I gotta roll. So I hit that rush. There's two rushes. There's a rush at 5, and there's a rush at 7 out of Wall Street. And I left too early before the 7 o'clock rush, so I'll be down there probably the next few hours. If anybody lives in New York City, come check it out. I look like a lunatic. These people walk by and they're like, man, what a scam artist. Man, what a crazy person. I had this one person say, oh yeah, if you predict like that, why are you on the street grinding? And I'm like, is there another way to be successful? Do you become successful without grinding? It's called getting exposure, my friend. People are so silly. Ay, ay, ay. So guys, I want to ask you something. So, we're having some issues with our funding. And what we're thinking about doing, let me move these out of the way. My team really loves what we're doing. I love what we're doing. I feel like when I'm not trading, my accuracy goes up because sometimes I get biased. I had to do a lot of mental reconditioning to get this far in my life, guys. Really, and sometimes the old mentalities, they pop up. So it seems like probably a better bet for me as far as accuracy to just go full force into the predicting and not trade. I'll buy and hold, but not do any trading really, because for one thing, to do them both is taking up so much time. It's almost like they're both becoming inefficient. But in order for me to do that, guys, I'm not trying to go back to work for somebody. And in order for me to do that, like this business, this brand has really cost a lot of money. We're talking like over $100,000 in the last year to really get it rolling, believe it or not. That's with the ESO meta-analysis platform that we've been building. But what I'm getting at, guys, is what do you guys think about when you make money with these readings, throwing some money back at us? I mean, like a broker gets like free, if they're greedy, they get 4% in and out, and that's like the total amount that somebody trades, not the profit. I'm thinking maybe you guys just throw like between like 5 and 10% of the profit back, maybe 3 to 7%, somewhere in there. I mean, it's not like somebody's gonna track it. It's more like a code of honor. But that would be one way that we, let's say we don't get the funding that we need through Kickstarter, that would be one way that we would likely be able to continue. But, it really depends on what you guys think. So I'm open ears. I'd love to hear what you guys, or read what you guys comment about that. There's a lot of skepticism about what I do, and then I think one of the main things that people, when you have a skeptic who doesn't want to bother looking at the evidence, they're like, oh yeah, well if you could really do that, how come you're not a multi-gazillionaire? And that's like, it seems like a really great argument, but basically what they're saying is my answer to that question determines whether or not I'm a real psychic. And when you think about that, that's absolutely absurd, right? Is every badass financial advisor wealthy? Do you really think that? Do you know what they teach you on Wall Street? They teach you how to sell and how to present yourself as wealthy. That's what they teach you to do. When I was on Wall Street, as a financial planner, as an insurance salesperson, all that stuff. The majority of what we learned was how to sell and how to present ourselves as successful and wealthy. So I forgot where I was going with that, but what I'm getting at is I don't want to go back down that route. And I lost a lot of money just to get to like 5 years ago. I lost a lot of money to get that far, and then I started making money, but it took a lot out of me. Like, it was a tough life. So now, I have a lot of expenses, and in order for me to continue to do that, you got to figure something out here, guys. I love what I'm doing. So I'd love to hear if you guys think that's a way to go. And the way that we would do that is there's a Cash App. We just set up the Cash App is set up. It's Kapproveb. We're putting it in the comments of all of the descriptions and stuff like that. Kapproveb, Philip Kapproveb. So our Cash App right now, we're going to set up better ways. There's a way that we have a Coinbase account, but I don't know how to do it yet. How to have people donate yet. Right now, what we're doing is we have Cash App set up, and it's basically, I'll just write it in here. Eventually, it's going to be in all our descriptions. That's the Cash App. All right, guys. I'd say one more minute, and then I'm gonna hop off. So anybody else has got a question, let me know. I see there's somebody on TikTok. Guys, I specialize in finance. I was a Wall Street broker when I had a near-death experience. I was 07, and since that time, I've been putting down spreads of the S&P 500 every single day, predicting by the hour on a daily basis. Over 17 years, it's a long time, guys. I mean, I've done thousands and thousands of these. I probably am the definitive expert when it comes to tarot and the stock market. You can follow along. We're actually we're looking at a live stock chart, or we were. Hold on. We're looking at a live S&P 500 chart, and it's side by side with the tarot reading that we did for the day. So if you're interested, you can always go to our YouTube channel, Tarot for Traders. It's tarot, like tarot cards, just like it is here, except instead of the number 4, it's the word 4, FOR, Tarot for Traders, and it's all free. We predict all sorts of stuff. There's also all sorts of crypto. So far, guys, I'm on a trip here. I'm going back to Fort Lauderdale tomorrow, and so far I've got XRP for August. I've got XRP done. I think Bitcoin we already posted. XRP is done. Harmony Coin's done. Cardano's is done, and the S&P. So we've got a lot more. There's on this list Dogecoin, VET, XRP, Shibcoin, and as far as stocks, we've got MGM. This is all for August. MNMD, CJ. Damn, why do I always get that wrong? Is it CJJ or CCJ? I think it's CCJ. I have to do that reading again. Put the wrong ticker in. What is this thing doing? Anyhow, Cameco, AMC, Boeing, ARKK, SPC, Apple, Amazon, Netflix, SFM, GME, GSK. Guys, check out GSK. Oh my God, check out GSK. GSK, I feel pretty strongly GSK is connected to, well, there's a cure. I put out in some posts, there's a cure for cancer approaching. It was a few months back. GSK, that company is involved with it. They're the ones doing the trials. That's like 100% success rate. Meta, Snow, and SoFi looks like. There'll be some more on there too, but I got to get back and get rolling on those. All right, guys. So I'm gonna head out. Appreciate you all hopping on. Sorry I wasn't able to get on yesterday. It's been pretty hectic with all the stuff going on, all the traveling. But I'll be back in my normal hood, back on like normal routine. Hopefully the construction when I get back is like gone. That would be so amazing. Oh, thanks, man. Yeah, it was the 4th actually. Thank you, appreciate it. Yeah, so guys, again, just let me know in the comments. Appreciate your feedback, Philip. If you think that's a good idea, if that's the way to go, and that would allow me also to put a lot more free stuff out, just like nonstop, which I love to do. It's just, it takes a lot out of you, and it's a very difficult lifestyle. There's a lot of choices that I have to like withhold from, in order to do it, and then on top of that, like to try and like do a full-time anything else, and this is just crazy, man. It's too much. We're dealing with the future. There's so much. It's not like we're just dealing with the present. All right, guys, so I'm gonna head out. I'm headed to Wall Street, well, let me say real quick. So tomorrow, low of the day, what I see happening likely, so volatility into the open, looks like we'll have a low at the open, like a sharp dip, and then a low at the open, or somewhere right around there. But out of that, we're going to have a notable move to the upside. There's 2 big moves I see here, either 1 to 2. We either have a big move higher and then a big drop, or if I'm wrong, then there's a big drop. We go from one low to another low, but I think probably we have a fake out here to the upside. And then we turn around and we drop to another low here just before midday. That's my sense. And I have a bearish tone because the Hierophant card's difficult to predict at times. Generally, it's like a bearish energy. And then we've got the Indolence card, followed by a trough the following day. So the following day, we definitely have some bearish, and well, it's nullified too, so that's interesting. Likely, we have some stuff happening over night as well. That's throwing off my ability to see the clarity. One thing that I think is happening about these gaps. Thank you, Ben. Thank you, Philip. Thank you. So if the price in the morning is determined specifically by the choices that are made the following day, like they're waiting to see where everybody is and then do something deceitful, it would make a lot of sense that the gaps that I predict would be off. because they're based on information that then the deceit over these overnight periods of time where you see these, like, you know, the in between hours where there's like moves in price and the little guy's stuck in overnight, like those periods of time, if they're determining what the price is going to be based on where the most positions are like to be lost and stuff like that, which highly likely they do. And if that's the case, that would make a lot of sense as to why it's been unreliable as of recently, where we open. But I'm going to crack into this because it's really annoying me. I lost some money on that. Well, as of right now, it's down, but I do see that turnaround. Okay, guys, so that's where I'm at. I'm headed to Wall Street. Appreciate you all watching. Spread the word, guys. We really need to get the word out. I think what we've got cooking is a really cool product. It's been needed for a long time. And it basically will provide any financial astrologer with like a version of Solar Fire. Think Solar Fire, if you know astrology, it's like the professional program, but it's the Solar Fire of like financial analysis. All right, that's what we've built and are continuing to build. So spread the word, share, and if you make money, guys, hit a little bit of that back off to us so we can continue onward. Otherwise, we're looking for other strategies. But if that would work, that would be the best way, because I could really go full force into it. Otherwise, this whole channel, like all the channels I'm doing, mixed with the background project, it's like draining me, man. It's just draining me. So anyhow, guys, I'll see y'all later. If you're in New York, come check me out on Wall Street.